Happy Thursday, everyone. This is 60 Grit coming at you with the OnePlus One Fold. I've actually played with this phone and I'll give you what I think about it, my feedback, a kind of recap. So this is OnePlus's first foldable to the market. They actually partnered with somebody to create this phone, so it's not their total design and creation on this. Has a large and bright 7.8 main display, has a 4800 milliamp battery, 67 watt charging. At the end of the day, this is a very solid phone. It's kind of cool because you get the phone, you get this case, they throw a charger in there. At first, and I should have probably known this, because I probably should have, I was like, oh, why the charger's kind of cool, but you know, step back, this phone does not have wireless charging, and this is a deal breaker for me, but not sure where you're at in your journey on your phone. But real quick overview. All right, let's go. They make two phones. When they make one in emerald, they make one in Voyager black. The main display is a 7.882. The cover screen is going to be 6.31. It's going to have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. 740, has 16 gigs RAM, 512 storage, has the Oxygen OS 13.2, which is based on Android 13. Unfortunately, it's not on the latest Android, but there's always, any manufacturers, there's always that ramp up time to get the latest and greatest Android, so there's always that delay. Cameras are phenomenal on this phone. You got a main, you got 48 megapixel, which is a Sony, then you have which is a 24 millimeter equivalent. Your ultra wide is a 48 megapixel Sony also, which is the IMX 581. And then your macro telephoto lens is the OmniVision OV64B sensor on that, which is 70 millimeter equivalent. The internal selfie camera is a 20 megapixel, external selfie camera is a 32 megapixel. So when you start looking at the camera specs, it's killing it, right? When you start looking at foldables, great specs on the phone. The battery size is 4805. And then it has a 67 watt charging capabilities. So you look at the charging speeds, it's going to have some of the fastest speeds out there. Incredible thing. When you start looking at those and you start comparing what's out there on the foldable, I would probably say this is by far one of the best foldables out there on the market. Everybody I've actually that's hold the phone, that's touch the phone, who's played with the phone, is amazed at the size, the weight of it. One person actually thought it was actually lighter than their iPhone 15 Pro Max, until I had to correct them and say, actually, it's about a third heavier, but the phone does definitely feel light. When you start looking at some of the benchmarks out there, the Samsung does perform better, but of the foldables, when you start looking at like the benchmark, like the Geekbench 6 single, I guess, if you look at it, Samsung Fold 5 does beat it. OnePlus Open, and then Google Fold. So it's right there in the middle on that. It doesn't really beat. The only thing is that when you start looking at the benchmarks out there, so you have Geekbench 6 single, you got the Geekbench 6 multi, you got the 3D Mark Extreme, you have the 3D Mark Extreme Low. The only one it really beats everybody at is the 3D Mark Extreme Low. All the other specs, when you start looking at compared to the Samsung and the Google Pixel Fold, it's actually middle of the road, and it's not far behind the Samsung. So when you look at performance, this thing performs. It is amazing. I have no issues with performance. The battery life is excellent on this phone also. So if you're looking for something, I did not have any problem actually on this phone to go a whole full day, which is awesome. They say, it's video streaming. It actually, of all the foldables, when you look at video streaming hours and actually truly people testing it, this and the Pixel Fold actually tie. They're about even on that. The Samsung Fold has a little bit less battery life. Web browsing, it's up there with the Pixel Fold. The Samsung, when you just look at battery life, the Samsung Fold is the worst foldable out there when you start looking at. And when I say out there, I'm only talking about the OnePlus Open, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5, and the Google Pixel Fold. But battery life, the Samsung is the worst. You can look at anybody's tests. You can go out there and look at other things. You're gonna see what I'm doing. It's always neck to neck between the Open and the Fold. The only thing where the OnePlus really beats out, and you get almost 9 hours when you start out 3D gaming, the hours. The pixelfold, you know, it's almost 9 hours for the OnePlus Open. The Samsung Fold is a little over 5 hours, and the Google Fold is right at 6 hours. So when you start looking at any kind of 3D gaming, this thing is a couple hours better. Charging speeds, yeah, I mean, like I said, you got the highest charging watts. There are people that have done tests out there. They've seen up to 61. They tout 67, let's be honest. Most specs are based off of non-true metrics because they basically put it in an environment that's not really what the average user's using, and then they squeeze the best out, and that's how they actually get it. What else is there on this phone? Spec-wise, phone itself, I will say this is the best foldable out there. I've played with the Samsung Fold. I've had the Pixel Fold, the OnePlus. This is by far the best. So if you're looking for a great phone, the weight of it's incredible, the size, you get the case. If you're looking for the all-in-one package, this could be the phone you're looking for if you're looking foldable. This is amazing. Like, this is probably the best crease. Now, everybody, you hear people that do reviews are like, oh, I can see a crease. If you think you have a foldable phone and you're never gonna see an actual crease in the middle, I don't know what world you live in. But if anything folds, you will always see some form of crease, period. There's no getting around that. But on this phone, it's very minimum. Like, this is, if you think of a foldable, this phone probably nailed it on the best crease for the foldable. The fingerprint reader, it works awesome. Like, it's, oh, now it doesn't want to work. There you go. Let's try that again. Close it out. I did not have any problems with this reader. Oh, there you go. Look at that. It's working now. Thing work. This is cool. So you have your volume up here. You got the power here. You got a readable here. It does face unlock. But then you also have right here, you have your mute and vibrate. So as you can see, that will print the ringer on. That mutes it. I love this feature. I always will hit these on any other Android phones, turn ringer on or off. But yeah, it's, you know what, now it's not working. There you go, it's working. For some reason, just on this video, and I mean, it's just on this video, I really have had no issues opening this phone, performing wise. The screen's amazing. Again, the crease is very minimum. So if that's something that bothers you and you're looking at like, oh, I can't live with a foldable because it has a crease, even though I should expect a crease because I have unrealistic things I want, this phone's gonna hit your mark on that. The front screen is amazing also. Overall, like I said, I give this a good, the camera, it has a good camera. It's, of all the foldables, I'd probably say it has one of the better cameras out there. The folds, spec-wise, are not nearly, this is actually more of a, the specs on this camera are amazing. You know, it's interesting, the design, everybody has their own design, what they do camera-wise. They love the round design. I had really no issues with this phone at all using it. The reason why I'm not gonna carry this phone, and I understand, we all have our quirks. You know, I just made fun of the people that don't expect a crease on a foldable phone, but my entire house is set up for wireless charging. And I'm just shocked that you make a phone of these capabilities and you forget the main thing, wireless charging. Yes, great, you have a fast charging port, but if your phone lasts throughout the day, why do you need the fast port? We're charging at night. This is something that back in a lot of phones when they have some type of leak or they have things running in the background that's chewing up your battery, that's when you really need a fast charger. But if this phone lasts me the entire day, in fact, this phone actually lasts me multiple days, and I'm a heavy user. And I don't mean 2 full days, I mean I got into the second day and still had it. The phone I left for 5 days surfing, doing stuff. didn't even charge it not once. But the thing that actually why I won't carry this phone is because it doesn't have wireless charging. And my whole house is set up that way. When I go on my bed, I use MagSafe. And yes, MagSafe was created by Apple, sorry, not Android. But there makes so many cases that have the same magnets that are on the MagSafe. That means you can get just about any phone out there, whether it's Samsung or Google. You get MagSafe cases, they snap on, they do it. I'm beyond the point of wanting a cable. I cannot stand cables anymore. Yes, I am one of those guys. I am a prima donna now when it comes to cables. I don't want cables at all. In fact, I'd love to have my car. So that's the breaking point for me, is no true wireless charging. Other than that, the phone's incredible. It's amazing. The price, you get it for $14.99. If you do a trade-in, if you go to any type of school, you get $200 discount. If you do a trade-in, you get a $200 discount. They were giving away their free AirPods. I guess the OnePlus pods, I guess you would call them. Which by far, I've tried a lot of pods out there for Android. I've tried the Bose, I've tried the Google Pixels, and they by far, actually, I would say are one of the better pods out there. Razer has an amazing set of pods for your ears also that I really liked. They're THX certified. Are they really that much better sounding? They are very clear. I will give them that. But OnePlus has an amazing set of ear pods. So if you are looking for those out there and you want to try somebody else, or you don't like the Googles out there, the Google, which they just fall out my ear. I can't hear them. Half the time I have static between my Google pods. They are by far the worst pods I actually ever tested. And I know there's people out there that love them and say they don't have an issue. Great. I've tried 4 different type of pairs, all the pros. I've not tried anything but the AirPod or the Google Pros. I can't stand them. They just don't work. Every time I'm on the phone, people are like, I get a bunch of static, I take them off. There is no static. I use somebody else's pods. I have no issues. So great. If you love them, I'm not beating them up. I'm just saying for me, they're not there. The OnePlus earpods are top notch, and the price of them, you can't beat them. But anyways, Pixel Foldable, in my idea, it is has a very capable camera, all around performance. It has good performance. Never felt the phone really getting hot ever. Has ultra fast charging. So if you want to plug in a cable, it's going to charge faster than majority of any phone out there because it is rated at the highest. Great specs for a foldable. Their first take on this, they probably, in my opinion, they've knocked it out of the park better than anybody else on their first foldable. And I understand Samsung came out. There's other companies that came out with them first. They're late to the market. Everybody else has a lot of gotchas, or they went through growing pains. And now people are taking the best of what somebody's doing and creating it. But coming out, I would buy this phone over the Google Pixel Fold and the Samsung Fold 5. Price-wise, features, the only caveat, if you're like me and you have to have wireless charging, then of course stay away from this phone. But camera on the phone, use, performance, what you're getting for what you're paying, this is by far the best foldable phone, in my opinion, that you can buy. Please subscribe to my channel. I know there's people out there that like my messages. They're just real, they're honest. I will never be bought. I will never advertise anybody product unless it's something I paid for, but I will never review somebody's product where they're paying for me or promoting something. This is not what this is about. This is an honest, true take. So please subscribe, help get the word out there. I will always give you my honest feedback. If there's something you need, I will always respond. Again, this is on the OnePlus One Fold. Great phone, amazing. If you're looking at foldables, I would highly suggest that you look at this and go, it's cool. So let me know what you think about it. If you have got it, have been using it, if you're in the foldable market, look at this one. And they have rewards too for you. But 60 grit, have a great Thursday. Hope your weekend's awesome. And see you next time.